I didn't like know anything about credit. And then as I got older, I still didn't really know anything about credit. Like, I didn't know that credit fell off within 7 years. I didn't know that you could do anything to fix it. And then I just happened to have found this one book on, I think it was like audio.
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to it and I thought it was like really amazing. So I got obsessed with like fixing my credit, and I was able to get 2 things off of collections through that credit. And I just started like obsessing even more, and I started reading different books, but then they were starting to sound all similar. And then I literally was about to be like, okay, I'm done. I think I learned everything I could. And your channel popped up, and I listened to one of your videos, and I was like, they never mentioned any of the stuff that he said on there. So I just started listening to you a lot more, and I think in like one day I liked like I think 10 of your videos straight. And I like commented on all of them, left a note about the AAA.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's been pretty good, and I'm so excited to learn from you because I'm such a millennial. I'm like, I don't believe in paying for stuff I can just learn on YouTube.
Yes.
But I just felt like, okay, if I've learned this much, I can't imagine how much more he has hidden in his course.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like, the content is the stuff that I do on YouTube is oversimplified, but at the same time extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And I guess people really need to adapt to that first before even they're ready mentally to take on what's in the course. It's very extensive. So, so I designed it that way. So can you tell me a little bit about what motivated you? What's your background so that we can kind of conversate about that?
Okay. Well, I think I'm like what you described in your book, in your video, where I came from like a pretty poor background. Like, even till this day, my dad just talks about like, oh, we're really poor. Like, my dad will tell me we're really poor, even though now I have like passive income through the VA, and I started my own business because I really want to start establishing stronger credit for my business. And then I found out that the United States actually has like a lot of different grants. Like, you can get a $5,000 grant towards an electric car in California, but you have to have like really good credit to qualify for these grants. So right now I want to start like building my credit so I can hopefully be able to get one of those grants within the next couple months before they fill up.
Of course. No, that's pretty powerful. Okay. And would you mind sharing, like, what are you looking forward to? What kind of business you want to run?
Well, I'm starting an online permanent makeup training.
Mm-hmm.
And I've established a class, and I'm working to score to learn how to market more.
Mm-hmm.
I completed my first audiobook on business credit, and I've been in business as a permanent makeup artist for about almost 2 years now, and for the last 2 years I didn't establish any business credit, even though I have a limited liability company, because I didn't know how. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 2 business gas card, and I just found out I can write my rent off and put as business credit.
Exactly, right.
So it's kind of like one of those things where I'm just like, I can't believe nobody's told me this.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, this is not something you learn like every day, so you got to take your time to do this and literally dig deep to see, hey, what do I need to know, right? So that's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I'm really excited to take your course, and I'm hoping that maybe in 6 months I'll be able to take your business mastery course.
Got you. Yeah, that'd be great. And so let me ask you this: the stuff that you're learning in the course right now. Obviously, I'm sure you didn't get to the technical side, hopefully, yet. But what are you noticing that like I try to emphasize on? Like, how do you connect with that? Like, from your personal background, like, why do you think that whatever I'm sharing, needs to be taught? Like, from your perspective.
Well, I've noticed that the other books, they talk more about like how to get rid of your debt. And I've read everything from like just get a new social security number and claim that you were raped.
Oh God!
Right? No, like literally, you know, like there's literally this book, and they show you the website and how to get a new social security number to just writing off collections and writing kind of like threatening letters and like threatening to contact the FTC on them, and just doing the whole 30-day wait challenge. So I've noticed a lot more of those books are more of like templates and just helping you kind of like get out of trouble, but they don't really help you kind of learn like what happened, or that everything's being monitored, or these stuff can come back to you.
Exactly. I got you. So you're basically looking at like gray area, wishy-washy tactics that are not really guaranteed to work either,
Yeah, but that's the thing is like I didn't know that they were like super like gray areas, because I was like, when I read about the Social Security one, I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could get a new Social Security number. And they just talk about how like the rich do it all the time. So.
Yeah, so that's the challenge. Like people say this, and I'm gonna break a myth right now. Like as our conversation happens, the rich don't do it all the time. The rich actually stick to one number, and that's how their bankable relationships are built over time. Yeah. And what the rich do is they start new ventures where the banks are willing to back them with their own liquidity, because they have performance and they have indications of performance that is completely kept in a safe, which is a database for the banks, right? And they say, hey, from your past track record and the type of wealth you have in your disclosure, which is the pure thing, like when you're in the IRS, when you're filing your taxes, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a collection of track records with your EIN number and let's say even your SSN number. So the rich don't necessarily hide themselves by getting SSN numbers all the time. That means that they're giving up on all the financial performance they had in the past, and that's a big myth that people need to realize.
Yeah. Well, I just this book that I found, it was like the author's not even on it. It's like this. It's just like I don't even know how I found this book. It's just, but it just had like a lot of like information I didn't know about. So
no.
Yeah. So
it's okay. At least you're sharing. That's what it is. So tell me, what are your short-term goals like right now with like the credit? Like, what are you trying to do?
Well, right now I want to learn more about how collections are worked and kind of more of the legal stuff behind it, because I noticed that my credits aren't matching, and I want to be able to fix it by going like, okay, well, you reported that I paid this month, but then on Experian you said no, I missed this month. So I want to start fixing that, and I want to make sure that my credit report is all correct. And then also I believe like my credit my TransUnion credit bureau had like 7 different names for me under there, including the number 6 as my name.
What the?
Yeah.
I wonder where that came from.
Yeah. So I'm doing that, but I actually tried to fix my name before I found your video, so I didn't know that I could just do a sweep before. So I don't know if I just wanted to send out more letters within the month, but I think I'm just going to wait until a month until they get back to me, so that it doesn't seem like I'm like using a credit agency or something.
Exactly. Yeah. It's better done with like with a structure. Like it's like a game of chess, right? Like you want to win until the other person moves.
My short-term goal is just to be more knowledgeable when it comes to stuff, and just learn like the legal, like, is it pronounced like the legalization
legalese
of it, so that I can start working on the past and being like, hey, you guys didn't do this right, and you guys claim that you guys did this right. And that I can fight off collections. Like I was with Sprint for 11 years, and I left just a couple months ago. And I have multiple screenshots where I'm texting them and I'm like, hey, I'm leaving. I have like recorded phone calls where I'm saying I'm leaving, and they still sent me to collections for the last 2 months because they wouldn't terminate my contract. So I actually had just watched your affidavit video.
Yes.
And I did an affidavit. It took me like 2 hours to do because I didn't know how to make one. Then I went to AAA and I got it notarized and I mailed it in. So now, like, if anything happens and I go to court, I can actually be confident and just be like, wow, I did it right, versus just like falling, because it's like, I think you just feel so weak against corporations sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's because, it's the fear, right? It's just people don't know, like, if they say the wrong things, what's going to happen.
Yeah, and so it's like, it's more of like the fear, and plus like, I think with, my parents still telling me that I'm like poor and that I'm dumb, which it's really weird because like, I have an Asian background, so I think because I'm not a doctor, my parents think I'm dumb, but it's weird because I have like because I've been in the military, I have a Bachelor of Science, I've learned business, but I still hear that because I'm not meeting their standards, so I think that still affects me.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say, even myself, I was actually going through the pre-med route, but I stopped to do finance.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like the amount of pressure that I guess, like, and that's another topic I'd like to talk about in the future, but there are certain cultures that have some sort of standards, and the level of confidence that's built. I mean, our cultures have a very decent work ethic. Like, I love that about it, and then the one downside to it is that, like, okay, those standards are always at a point where it's almost unrealistic, and there's a tremendous amount of pressure on your shoulders to kind of like attain that standard. And it mentally destroys you, because what happens is you start as a kid and you start adapting that standard as you grow into your adulthood. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize this, but parenting, it's a very sensitive topic, and I believe that if people just simply considered encouraging the kids to like explore, to be the best version of themselves instead of setting a standard from the get-go, opportunities, I mean, once you unlock the mental capacity, the opportunities are so vast and endless, so but you know what, you're in a good position right now, because like you're always educating yourself, you see what I'm saying, from what I've noticed about you. And I think you just have to push through. Like, don't let that affect you. Just remember, like, the true version of who you are instead of like the ideal version, and I think that's what it comes down to from my perspective.
Yeah, no, I think I'm doing, pretty good. I don't know. It's like, it's weird because I haven't reached past 600 yet. I'm pretty close, but considering, like, I think less than a year ago, my credit was down to 504 because I did a car surrender to CarMax. Because I was facing depression at the time. I actually had to be hospitalized because of it. So I didn't, pay my car anymore. So I did a volunteer surrender because I didn't think it was going to hit my credit, and instead it dropped my credit like 100 points. And then just to be able to be like, oh my God, it's weird because on one of my FICO scores it says I'm at a 610, but then one of my other FICO scores says I'm like a 580. So I don't know where I'm at, but just the fact that I'm like, okay, once they all get to 600, I feel really like proud that I was able to raise that in just a short amount of time, because I know like most people don't do that.
No, it's true though, and I get to see what's happening. So the reason why it's like that is because there are scores that are calculated like Vantage, FICO, and all these type of things based on different metrics individually. So that could be a big reason as to why. Now, I'm sorry to hear about the hospital situation and everything. Obviously, like I can see that you're more enthusiastic and energetic nowadays, so that's a good thing to see.
No, it's weird because when I talk about it, most people are like, I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, no, but it's good though. It's good. Now, before we end our conversation here, well, people will be listening to, can you tell me what advice you would have for people who are getting into learning about personal credit and what they're planning to do with it, like for example, people venturing in it on their own to fix their credit, what are some advice would you give?
I would probably say not to go through with a template. A lot of books will have some kind of templates where it just makes it sound like it's like where a human wrote it, but because so many people are using the exact same verbiage and vocabulary, that I think they can easily spot it. And I definitely think like just because you get like one thing off your collection or two things off your collection, to not to just keep using the template, because eventually they're gonna like catch up and kind of deem you as frugalist.
Yeah.
And that not all 3 credit bureaus work the same way. So, and that's kind of like really annoying because you don't understand like why one works one way and one works another way. And then also I kind of feel like it's really hard to get through to some of the credit bureau, because like I know one of them, I won't say which one, but one of them doesn't even have like a customer service number on the website. So it's it's really, really frustrating, and especially if you don't know anything about credit, like you just feel so like weak and vulnerable, and you think like, oh, I'm just meant to have bad credit, but you don't. And I think like if anybody really tries and works towards it, I think you can get to like a 700 in 2 years if you really keep at it and you're trying and you're actually doing the right thing. Oh, and to get stuff notarized, because
yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
that's true. Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't believe the power in notarized until like 2 weeks ago.
No, but it's good. But
I actually didn't know what it was.
Oh, you didn't know? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know what like notarized was, and I didn't know what it was, and I was trying to figure out, because like I typed it in on Google, and it told me it was like $15 a page. It told me it was like $2 a page, so I didn't know. And then somehow I found it was free on AAA if you have like there's different tiers of AAA, but you get their highest tier, then you get like 5 different notary sections a day, and then the other ones are like $2. And even like I was talking to the lady at the AAA office, and she was like, "Oh, why are you getting this stuff notarized for credit?" And I was telling her about it, and I gave her your YouTube information, and she was all like, "I've been working as a notary for 15 years," and she was like, "I've never thought about using this to fix my credit."
Yeah, it's definitely a different angle, but it's a much needed angle anyways, right? But it's good.
Yeah, none of these books like talk about it. I think honestly, I just feel like a lot of these books, I think like somebody like published one out, and then like another person just like copied it and just published it out, and then like another person like copied it and published it out, because they're all starting to sound the same, and I think you're the only one that's really different.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I'm not trying to be different. You see, like that's the whole thing. Like a lot of people believe that I'm teaching differently, but all this info, it's like it's there. You see what I'm saying? But it's just that the ideas of how to execute them, understanding, because everybody else's strategy, I feel, this is my personal opinion, is get away from trouble instead of facing it. And yes.
Well, I think like they just want you to like get out of trouble, but then like like they're kind of telling you like, no, if you can just charge off your cards like a bunch of it and just get a new social security number.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Awesome. No, I appreciate our conversation. And you're okay that I do share this on YouTube and stuff. Would that be all right?
Yeah, of course. Nobody knows me on YouTube. I'm not famous.
No problem, Vivian. I appreciate that. And once again, I appreciate you. And I'm going to stop the recording now.